Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to round 3 of the Inside Line Racing League season here on Xbox. It promises to be another thrilling Grand Prix as we arrive at Shanghai for the Chinese Grand Prix. Well, the opening 2 rounds, they've been thrilling, they've been frenetic, they've been absolutely brilliant, particularly last time out in Bahrain in a race that turned out to be one of the most breathless, the most enjoyable, the most exciting I have ever witnessed in the whole of my time doing some commentary. Well, the cars are coming out on track. Unfortunately, we do not have Diablo with us in the commentary box tonight. The dynamic duo are not together today. He is no longer with us. He's away to, I think he's working actually this week, so he's not with us for the Chinese Grand Prix. He's doing a Brundle, of course, Martin Brundle, not turning up recently for Formula 1, leaving us with Paul Di Resta in the commentary box. Well, unfortunately, I'm all on my lonesome as the cars come out onto the racetrack to begin their qualifying session. Remember, 18 minutes this qualifying session, then we go into a 50% distant race, and the cars heading out onto track for the first time this weekend. A lot of effort, a lot of practice will have gone in for all these drivers, so let's see how they all get on. We are expecting a really interesting race for strategy, much like we had in Bahrain. The Ultrasoft isn't really going to be used, I don't believe. It's being used at the moment, maybe for the drivers to get an eye in. As you can see, most drivers on an outlap on those Ultrasoft tyres. But the tyres here this weekend are the Ultrasoft, the soft and the medium compound. But the problem with the Ultrasoft is if you want to do a one-stop race, you cannot use them. And of course, the top 10 have to start on the tyre they qualify on. And that would mean a 2-stop if they decided to go on Ultrasofts. So I would expect the majority of drivers, if not everyone, to eventually do their quickest laps on either a set of softs or a set of mediums. But let's ride on, well, ride outboard, I should say, with VRT Verstappen at the moment as he takes us around this Chinese Grand Prix circuit. One of the most challenging circuits, I would say, on the calendar for the drivers. It's one that they come here and go, oh no, not China. It's one of those really difficult ones to hook up the lap, to get nailed on with all those long corners, particularly turns 1, 2 and 3. Then as you climb up the hill on the exit of here, another sequence of high-speed corners left and right through turns 7 and 8 as we watch VRT Verstappen go through there now, pushing the limits of his Toro Rosso car. So by all means, track with a lot of challenges on it, and now heading through these 2 left-handers, turns 9 and 10, that come at you very quickly indeed, and you can get away with running wide out there. I don't think Charlie Whiting's going to be too disappointed with that. We are on strict corner cutting, but seemingly you can run quite wide there and get away without much trouble at all. As VRT Verstappen heads through turn 12 and now 13 through the long banking down this straight. It's very difficult to get the power on. Coming through there as he now heads down the back straight, the 1.2 kilometre straight, one of the longest straights on the entire Formula 1 calendar as he pulls alongside one of the well, that looks like a block there from RBZ, getting right in the way of VRT Verstappen. I'm not sure RBZ knew he was on a flying lap, but it looked to me there like a block, and RBZ comes into the pits, but I don't think it'll mean much, because I don't think Verstappen is really pushing the car, and as you can see, he's done a 1 minute 34.8, and that shows he isn't really pushing. He's in mode 0 as well. And for you guys wondering, I did say they wouldn't be running on Ultrasofts. They are all on them at the moment, using them up. I mean, if they pick the balanced option, they will get to choose 2 sets of the if they choose the balanced option on the tyre strategy, they get 3 sets of Ultrasoft tyres and 1 set of soft. So that's why they're deciding to burn them out at the moment, use up those Ultrasofts without doing a particularly quick lap. And as you can see on the right hand side there, Verstappen is in mode 0. He is not turning the engine up. He's going to try and push, try and set his eyes so we can get that one late run in the soft tyre, much like we've seen in Bahrain last week, to try and nail the lap. So this qualifying session will really get going at the end of the session. But while I say that, I think we should mention something very interesting here. OMG, it's Joe has decided to do a lap on the Ultrasoft tyre, a 1 minute 29.890, and I can confirm there is absolutely no way he is going to beat that time on a set of soft tyres. And if he does beat it, I'll go down there personally and shake his hand and give him a medal, but I don't think he will, and that looks like a statement of intent from Joe to qualify on the Ultrasoft tyre. Now that is going to make things very interesting. One of the men up at the top of the championship. And while we're here, while we're waiting for guys to go out there on the soft tyres towards the end of the session, let's have a quick run through of those championship standings. It's OMG, it's Joe for Ferrari on top with 40 points. He's level top, I should say, with Veloci Surprise, who's also got 40 points. Each driver picking up a third place and a first place early on in this season. AVR Reynolds, he is third in the standings with 2 solid fifth place finishes. He's been coming charging through the field as Reynolds on an alternate strategy, usually starting on the mediums, and it's paid dividends for him. He is third in the standings. Then it's Veloci Limitless with 18 points. Veloci Limitless and CRL Hamilton with 18 points, fourth and fifth in the standings. Limitless picking up 18 for second in Melbourne, and then a nightmare race for both Red Bulls in Bahrain, which we'll talk about a little bit more as the session progresses. CRL Hamilton did not start in Australia, finished second from the back of the grid in Bahrain, probably one of his best ever performances, it has to be said, in league racing. I think he actually said that during the interview last week. It was one of his best performances, so we'll see how he gets on. The problem is he's not here tonight, which is a shame. I think he's away playing Call of Duty, so that's his decision. Then it's TRL Martin, who's next in the standings, P6. He's got a 4th place and a 9th place from his 2 races so far. Again, a nightmare in Bahrain for him. Then Murso is next, he's P7 in the standings with 12 points, a 4th place last time out. RBZ, well, he's picked up an 8th and a 7th. He has got 10 points. TR Apex next with 6 points. Scott with 6 points. Mike Marshmallow with 6 points. And Grosh with 2, and Leopard with 1, and Hayden with 1, and that rounds off everyone with points so far. Still waiting on points, Overkill, K, Dralix, Langman, Verstappen, and Simon yet to get any points on the board. And Leopard, he's a man that will be looking for points. He was competing so high up last season, and right to the final race, looked like the man that was going to snatch the title before Danny M7 came in and picked up the glory. But Leopard's had a messy start to the season, been involved in a lot of incidents, and it's not gone well for him. So Leopard will be hoping to kick-start his season and get up the order and start performing a little bit better. But let's ride on board with Ghost Crab, who is on the ultra soft tyre. Now he's one of the men, if anyone was going to do it, I would expect to maybe try and run in the ultra soft, go on a glory run, try and get himself up towards the top of the timesheets as he comes exiting through turn 4 now, and down in towards turn 6, the breaking point there for that tricky hairpin, and he's a little bit deep into the corner. He'll lose a few tenths as he now climbs up through the gears through the long high speed turn 7, late apex when you come into there, trying to straighten the car up. Oh, look how close that is to the car on the right hand side, through the second part, and then braking hard into turn 9, locking up once again Ghost Crab, but out there on the circuit trying to do a quick lap, it would seem, because he's in mode 5, so that tells me that he is pushing at the moment. So 10 minutes to go in the session. Joe's the only man that's put a representative time on the board on the ultra soft tyre. He did say to me before the session that he had not done any or no practice of the Chinese circuit, so maybe a lack of knowledge there is why he's done that, and he might rue that decision come the end of the session. He's very likely to find himself on pole position with that effort, will Joe, but everyone else at the moment seemingly is going to wait to the end of the session and put on a set of softs, unless Gorsh really believes it's the ideal strategy for him. Is he going to come into the pits? Yes, he is. He abandons that run, and maybe not. Maybe just keeping it in mode 5, trying to get dialed into the circuit, and then wait to the very end of the session, not actually complete the lap, and then go out on the softs. I'm actually quite surprised no one's decided to go with the harder strategy. Of course, remember, you could pick your tyre strategy before the start of qualifying, and that strategy gives you an extra tyre. You know, you can have 2 ultra softs, a soft and a medium. Now that is something I did the other night in my league race. I mean, I'm a commentator most of the time, so how would I know? But I personally felt you would go a lot better if you ran a set of mediums for 10-15 minutes of the session. That filled the car up with 5 laps of fuel and just absolutely went for it. And then by the time you put a set of softs on, the car felt as if it had gripped up. You were right at the end of the session. The track had gripped up, and I felt when you put on the soft tyre, it feels a lot better, and I felt that worked for me. But obviously, these guys maybe prefer having 3 sets of ultras, dialing in a lap, and then not deciding not to complete it. I mean, the other advantage of having a few more ultra softs in your locker is that, pardon me, if it's a wet race, you want all the ultra softs you need. When the driver's going into qualifying, they don't know if it's going to be a dry race or a wet race, so maybe that's why they decide to do that. Maybe they feel that's a little bit of a safety net, gives them 3 runs on ultra softs to qualify for a wet race. But let's ride on board then with TR Morso, who will be smiling after his fantastic 4th place last time out in Bahrain. He was one of the contenders for driver of the day, but I believe there was no one that was going to take it away from Hamilton on that occasion, coming from the back of the grid to P2. So more so out there on the ultra soft tire, and he's coming straight into the pits, much like what I expect from the majority of the field, I'm not going to lie. Once again, folks, it's a bit of a slow burner this qualifying session, exactly as it was in Bahrain last week, where it all kicked off right at the death. And Red Bull, that's something we have to talk about. Limitless, Martin, they've said it before, and we've got to say it again. Qualifying is their Achilles heel, and the biggest problem now is Bahrain showed it last week, and now China will maybe show it again here today. One lap pace, one single lap. You don't get 2 or 3 chances at this. It's going to be one run, and that is it. And will they be able to improve on their qualifying from last week, which I believe was P8 and P10, and for 2 guys that are hoping to contend for race victories and podiums and results like that, that does not suit them at all. And it ended up being a really messy race for the pair. I mean, they tried to recover, but being stuck in that middle of the field doesn't really help you at all. And that team has got to be the team you've got to feel who are favourites for the Constructors' Championship. 2 really strong drivers in that lineup. And I mean, it's crazy to think that they struggled so much last time out in Bahrain. Okay, it wasn't all their fault. A lot of things happened, a lot of incidents occurred, and they really did struggle. But between them and perhaps Surprise teaming up with Hay, I mean, it's hard to say that anyone else is going to contend. Obviously, Joe and Langman, they're another strong pairing too, but you'd have to feel the Red Bull pairing would go on and contend for that Constructors' Championship. But in the drivers, well, Joe and Surprise, they're joint, of course, on the 40 points at the moment, and Limitless and Martin, they will really feel that they have the pace to contend over the course of the season. Has anyone decided to go out there on a set of soft tyres yet? Nope, it doesn't look like it. Let's see if we can find anyone out there on a lap. Hayden, he's a man I want to have a look at, a man I want to have a word with. I did speak to him during the week. He said he watched the stream back last week, and he noted that we mentioned that nobody had gone for the glory run, and maybe someone like him would go for a glory run and stick it on pole position. But Hayden, so far, doesn't show any signs of repeating that feat, or doing that exactly this week. He didn't do it last week, so he was thinking about it, toying with the idea, I presume, but as by the looks of it, with 5 minutes to go, not put a competitive time on the board, and I don't think he is going to go on the ultra soft tyre. I actually believe that this track is even more slam dunk soft tyre as opposed to ultra soft than it was in Bahrain. And if you start on the ultra soft here, the tyres are finished after about 4 laps, and you've got no hope whatsoever. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, the majority of the field waiting in the pits to go on those soft compound tyres. OMG, it's Joe. Might as well just sit there and put his feet up. I don't think anyone's going to go anywhere near a 1 minute 29.8. because everyone seemingly is going to opt for the soft compound tyre. There's a few cars coming out on the track at the moment, or out there at the moment I should say. RBZ, Car Powerful and Veloci Limitless all out there. Now, is Limitless pushing on a lap at the moment, or is he going slowly? We'll find out pretty soon. I've not had a chance to have a real good look at the sector time. Considering he's left it this late in the session, you would feel this is just about try and warm yourself up, bring yourself into the zone. Is he going to peel into the pits? I would not be surprised if Limitless does, and indeed he does. Veloci Limitless pulling into the pits, and that will be that. He will come in, he'll fit a set of soft tyres and then head out onto the track. The first man though to have a go on the soft compound tyre, it's Jork94. So let's see what Jork can do. Finished 6th last time out in Bahrain, did not start the opener. Where can he go? 3 minutes and 50 in the session remaining. Can he put himself near the top of the order? His teammate Overkill is on an outlap at the moment on a set of ultra softs, I believe. No, that's not true. He's fitted on softs. Everyone in the pits now, there you go. I'll give you the fitted graphic. That tells you what everyone is fitted on their car. The majority of people on softs. Hayden, interestingly, still sitting in the pits on the ultras. He'll change that pretty soon, I would imagine. But Joe looks pretty safe in pole, albeit on ultra softs. As we watch Jork bring the car round, the final part of the lap, warming up the tyres as he gets ready for a run on these soft compound tyres. Listening to some of the guys, I think a mid-30, a high to mid-30, probably a high 30 I would think, would be enough to go fastest of all on a set of softs. But of course Joe has made that impossible task of getting pole position with that 29.8. So let's see what Jork can do then as he comes round the final corner here in Shanghai. A tricky one, very easy to run wide as Jork proves. Round that final corner, a real hot spot for penalties in this Grand Prix. Certainly one to watch that one as he heads down into turn 1. a real neck buster for the drivers in real life, not so in the virtual world, but a real tricky one, and it just gets tighter and tighter as you reach the apex of turn 2, then head downhill through turn 3, then you've got to wait an age to get on the throttle through the kink of turn 4, and then climbing up through the gears through the slight right of turn 5, braking hard at around 100 metres of turn 6. Get as close to the apex as you can, get on the throttle nice and early, apex moving aside as York now climbs up through the gears, through the high speed turn 7 and 8, 7th gear, feathering the throttle on those soft compound tyres, throws the car into turn 8, stay as tight as you can to the right to open up the apex of turn 9, and York so far on a relatively solid lap as he goes through the double right-hander of 9 and 10 and down towards the braking zone of turn 11, another tricky corner. Easy to outbrake yourself through turn 12, and as I said in my hot lap commentary, don't carry too much speed through 12 or you'll end up heading off to Beijing and through the gravel trap on your way there, as York now exits through turn 13 and heads down this long back straight, opening up the DRS as he heads towards the braking zone. This is probably the best overtaking area on the circuit, braking at around 100 metres, probably just on the edge of the curb there, just before the 100-metre board. And now towards the end of the lap, TRL Martin has retired from the session, so not a good session for Martin. That is not good at all. Round the final corner, up to the line comes York. What's the benchmark? A 1:31.1 from York. So a good effort from him. The first soft time on the board. Overkill did his on the ultra soft. Who else is out there in the softs? We've got Melanie out there. RBZ still in the pits. Reynolds is out there on softs as well, and he's done a 34.1 up till this point. So let's see how it goes for Reynolds. Who else we got out there? Who can we pick up furthest round the lap? Simon's about to begin a lap on the soft compound tyre. Melanie's round there on one at the moment. Limitless about to start one. Trying to pick cars up furthest round the lap. So Langman, let's have a look at Langman as he comes towards the end of the lap as well. The Ferrari driver, who has done reasonably well so far. He's not had the points on the board to show. It's been a really frustrating start to the season for Langman. A DNF in a 16th when he's been performing so well. Can he put that Ferrari right up near the front of the grid? Here comes Langman round the final corner, up to the line. Where can he go? Can he beat York's effort? He can. A 1:31.0 from Langman. A solid time there from him. Who can beat it? Surprise is on a lap. Simon is on a lap. Dralic is out there. Verstappen for the line. He goes 6th on a 31.6. Not a great lap from him. Let's see who else we can find near the end of a lap, further down the bottom of the order. Grosh is coming to the end of one. Where is Limitless? He's further round. Let's ride with Grosh through the final corner. Up to the line, currently 17th. He moves up into P2, albeit on the ultra soft tyre, a 1:30.3. So he's another one that's gone for the ultras. We've got Verstappen off the road. What about Surprise? He's on one at the moment. Simon's on one, coming towards the end of the lap. We'll need to pick up Surprise and Limitless soon. Reynolds has gone 5th on a 1:31.1. Surprise 7th at the moment. We wait for him. We wait for Limitless as well. Where will Limitless go? Where will Simon go? As we watch Simon come towards the final corner. Turns 16. Simon throws it into the left-hander. Up towards the line comes the McLaren driver. He goes P3, the quickest soft run we've seen so far. What about Limitless? Where can he go? Martin, his teammate, is in another nightmare section. He's 16th and slowest of the times we've seen. Here comes Limitless round the final corner, up to the line. Where's he going? He goes 4th, slower than Simon, but crucially quicker than Langman. So where is Surprise? He's done 9th quickest, a 31.1. That's a poor lap from Surprise. He's down in P10. And goodness me, that is going to open this race right up. Surprise, the favourite, in trouble, down in P10, along with TRL Martin as well. And that was topsy-turvy. It was breathless. It was crazy. What a session. And it was hard to keep up with. And Hayden as well. Look at Hayden, up in P2. He did eventually go for the ultra soft tyres. I'm not surprised. After I had a word with him during the week, he said, yeah, why not? I'm going to go for it. And he's only gone for it. Wow. Good effort from Hayden. I think he might have a nosebleed. He's that high up the timing order. Incredible. But yeah, the Chinese Grand Prix qualifying session is over. It's Owen Yucho and Paul for Ferrari on the ultra soft tyre. That early lap that he did right at the start of the session. LCR Hayden is 2nd. What a time from him. 1:30.1. Ghost Crab is 3rd on the ultra soft. Then the first of the soft runners. You could call it the virtual pole position. Simon in P4. Limitless P5. He'll be satisfied with that surely. Langman P6. 7th for Overkill. 8th for Reynolds. 9th for York. 10th for Surprise. He's got some work to do. Other notable mentions, Martin and Leopard way down at the bottom of the order, and that is not at all what they'd have been hoping for. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this one. It should be a thrilling Chinese Grand Prix, and with the likes of Martin, Leopard way down the order, and not only that, the likes of Surprise down in P10, it should be a fantastic Grand Prix. I'm really looking forward to it. Well, the car's moments away from the grid. We'll have the formation lap as well. Then we can have a rundown of what tyres people have chose as well. And I think another thing we have to note is Surprise qualifying P10. He's actually the wrong side of the order to have fresh tyres. So that's another blow dealt there for Surprise. Starting P11, he'd probably rather fresh set of mediums, fresh set of softs. He can choose his strategy, but he's locked in to the used set of softs he had in qualifying. So not good for Surprise in that sense, but a real chance for Limitless, Simon as well, and Langman to really stake a claim here. How will Joe get on as well, starting from pole on those Ultra Softs? Surely they won't last very long, but that will be interesting to see. The championship leader, the joint championship leader, of course, with the Lottery Surprise. We'll see how he gets on. It should be a cracker anyway. So the cars on their formation lap at the moment. And it is OMG, it's Joe leading from LCR Hayden. He will not believe that he is not going to have a car in front of him on the grid. Well, Hayden, that is for sure. But there you go. Now you can see the tyre strategies from everyone. OMG, it's Joe, starting, of course, on the tyres. They qualified on the Ultra Soft tyre. Hayden alongside him on the Ultra Softs, Ghosh Crab. Ultra Softs as well. To be honest with you, Hayden and Ghosh, they were the two in my mind that I thought might go for it, and they have gone for it. And fair play for mixing up. That will be interesting to see how it pans out. I think it's going to be fun to watch. That's exactly what it's going to be. I think after 3 or 4 laps, those Ultra Soft runners are going to be the shots, the cork in the champagne bottle, to be honest. So that will be one to watch. VSR Simon, he's P4 on the softs, basically the pole sitter, if you like, on softs. Then Limitless P5, Langman P6, Overkill P7. And he's actually on Ultra Soft, so he's had a poor session, the P7 on the Ultras. Reynolds P8 softs, York P9 softs, and Surprise, the last of the men to start the tyre. Pardon me, they qualify on, and P10 on the softs. Then it gets interesting. You've got VRT Verstappen on the medium tyre with Dralix alongside his teammate on the medium tyre on row 6 of the grid. Melanie, he's also gone for the medium tyre. An SRL legend, you could say. Melanie has raced there for a long time, but bringing himself over to ILR, and nice to see him here. He's on the medium tyre. RBZ also on the medium tyre. He's been brought back to the grid though. K is on the softs. Apex on the softs, Martin on mediums, and that is going to be a nightmare afternoon for him. Hopefully he can come charging through for his sake after the nightmare he had in Bahrain. Leopard likewise, soft tyre from him from P18, more so P19, and Car Powerful, another man who's very quick, new to ILR, will be looking to do well from the very back of the grid. Well, here we go, the cars lining up on the grid for the start of the Chinese Grand Prix. It's OMG on pole. Alongside him is the Mercedes of LCR Hayden. As I've said already, this is unfamiliar territory for Hayden. How will he get on? Can Joe get the strategy right? Can he do it on the Ultra Soft tyres from pole? It's going to be tough. We'll find out as the lights go out in China. No! Lights out. Away we go. It's Joe leading from pole. He covers off Hayden on the run to turn 1, and he covers off easily. Hayden still has a little look up the inside, but he can't find a way through. It's Joe from Hayden, from Ghosh, from Langman as Simon tries to go round the outside. He's lost that place to Langman at the start, and it will remain that way. Langman up to P4. Limitless is at a horrible start, right down into P7 as they all funnel their way through turns 3 and 4 and down towards the turn 6, and side by side that's Reynolds and Limitless dueling on the brakes into turn 6, and Reynolds clips. Oh, we got a huge accident there, bumping and clumsiness all round. That's Reynolds off the road, also Simon off the road, and one of the Ferraris involved in an incident too. We've also got a Toro Rosso of VRT Verstappen facing the wrong way down at turn 7. Messy stuff from those guys, and Verstappen gets going again. He had a nightmare race, or nightmare second after the race last time out in Bahrain after a superb opening stint. Not good for him, not good for Reynolds, not good for Simon at all three of them in the wars. I think Langman was the other man that was clipped in the rear by those guys, and he is currently P4. Has he got any damage? I don't think so, but look at the front three streaking away down the straight on those ultra soft tyres. It's Joe from Hayden, from Ghosh, then Langman P4 and Overkill in P5. Further down the order, look, on the left-hand side of the track, we've got a real battle. Dralix is going to go battling with Jock on the brakes, and behind that you've got Melanie attacking, but no moves being made. Is Melanie having a look? I think he is, up the inside here. Okay, can he find a way through? No, he can't, and Melanie stays. P13, so Joe leads them across the line to start lap 2 of 28. Breathless stuff, but it's a nightmare start for Reynolds, Simon and VRT for Verstappen further down the field. But let's go to the lead. Hayden, believe it or not, in second place, hunting down Joe. Not exactly sprinting away as Joe in these early exchanges, is he? So down towards turn 6 they go. Joe still holding on from Hayden. These guys, the crucial thing for them, as we go to surprise, battling side by side with Hayden, with Leopard, and look at that, and behind that we've got Limitless battling with Overkill as well. Overkill already holding those guys up. Is he already struggling on tyres as Leopard has a look, and Surprise is through up into P7 ahead of LCR Leopard, who's also made a storming start, by the way, from around 18th in the grid. He's up 10 places from his starting position. What a start from Leopard as Joe finally breaks the DRS on Hayden. 1.2 the gap between them as Limitless and Surprise do battle as Overkill runs a little wide. This should give JD the opportunity then. He should have the better traction coming out of this corner, and Overkill is in danger here. Here comes Limitless. He knows how crucial it is to keep Surprise back. They're both on the same strategy, and Limitless moves into the slipstream behind the Renault. He'll be forced to go to the outside. Don't hang out to dry because your main rival Surprise is right there. This could be a chance for Surprise to bounce. Limitless has to go deep on the brakes. He has to sweep round the outside. He has done it, but that's the danger. That's the danger. Surprise coming in, but Limitless measured that perfectly and crucially gets his way around Overkill and stays ahead of his race rival and his championship rival Veloci Surprise. But only for now. Here comes Surprise in the toe, down the inside into turn 1, rubbing wheels, the two greats of the tier, and unbelievably Surprise has mugged him. He's done it up the inside into turn 1. Through turn 2 they go. Veloci Surprise started 10, now up into P5. Beautiful manoeuvre, and Leopard in behind also got ahead of Overkill as well, but Surprise on a mission, and Limitless is coming back up the inside into turn 6. Oh, so close between he and Surprise, and we've got a safety car. We have a safety car because VSR Simon is out of this race, and I'm not sure why, and that is totally going to throw up the strategy in this Grand Prix. Has this played brilliantly into the hands of the ultra soft runners? They might be able to go onto a set of mediums, notch them through the safety car period, and go on to the end quite comfortably. I'm not sure, it might be a little bit, just a tad too early for them, but we'll wait and see. This is lap 3 out of 28, lap 5, lap 6. Oh, it's going to be close. They might just be able to eke this out to the end. Those guys on ultra softs, it's in the balance. It might not actually have any effect at all, but there's one thing for sure: Joe, Hayden, Ghosh, they're all going to have to come into the pits and free up everyone else. I'm not sure. What will the soft runners do? Will they come in? I don't think so. I don't think they can come in, really, unless they feel they've got to match Joe, Hayden and Ghosh and go on to a set of medium tyres, because that would mean Joe, Hayden and Ghosh would virtually gain a pit stop on these guys. So this could really work in favour. Oh, it's Joe, if it wasn't for the runoff area, was going to do a Hamilton 2007 there. Goodness me. But he just about gets away with it and comes down the pit lane. Langman's gone through, and I think the majority of the soft runners have gone through. Medium tyres going on for Joe, and I presume that will be the same for his rivals. TRL Martin is also... No, he's not going to the pit, my bad. So Joe, Hayden, Ghosh and Overkill, the 4 drivers that started in the ultra softs, have all come in. Joe and Hayden have gone for mediums, and Ghosh and Overkill have gone for softs. They obviously don't believe they can get to the end on those tyres. So a real split strategy there between the 4 drivers that started on the ultras. You've got Ghosh and Overkill, they've gone for a set of softs, and Hayden and Joe have gone for a set of mediums. So that is going to be really interesting to see which one comes out on top in that particular battle. That really will be interesting, and whether they can get to the end on those mediums, Hayden and Joe. They might have won a watch here, they might have. Because this race ain't going to get back underway till the end of lap 5, I don't think, at the very earliest. And They'll be able to nurse their tyres until the end of lap 5, going on to lap 6. Will they be able to get those tyres to the end? That is a big question, and I'm interested to see how it works out. I mean, if they do, they should go on and win this race. Well, Joe certainly should. It should have certainly have worked in his favour. Depends, of course, the state of his tyres come the end of the race, but there's the tyres that everyone's on at the moment. That is the stop situation on your left-hand side. Joe, Hayden goes overkill. They all started on a set of ultras. They've gone to a set of softs or mediums, and behind that, RBZ, EVR Reynolds and VRT Verstappen. They've all been in. Reynolds was in earlier. I think RBZ might have been in earlier. VRT Verstappen saw the opportunity, pit again and put an even fresher set of tyres on in the mediums, so he's come in again. We'll see how that goes, but back up at the front, there is Langman. It's the first safety car of the season, and I'm a bit surprised to see it at China more than anywhere else. It's not a track where you'd associate safety cars with very often, but finally we've got a safety car, and I'm very surprised at it because Codemasters in the game this year, there's been very few safety car deployments, but we have got one here. There's your position changes for anyone wondering. For Langman's up 5, Surprise from P10 up 8, Limitless only up 2. He'll be really disappointed with the start to the race he's had, and the fact that he's allowed Surprise to get ahead of him after a ropey start, and Surprise having a good one. Leopard, meanwhile, I'd love to see how he's done that. I mean, 14 places in such a small space of time. I mean, 10 off the line, then 4 in the pits while the guy's pitted. I mean, that's incredible. Awesome job from LCR Leopard there. Blew up 14 places, and hopefully he can finally get his season up and running. No points on the board, remember, for the Mercedes driver so far. York's up 4 places, Dralix is up 6 places, Kay's up 8, Martin up 9, Melanie up 4, Morsel up 9, and Powerful up 9, and then everyone else down positions, mainly because they've all been in the pits. And yeah, I think there's a few more pit stops there, have we? I don't think we have. No, we haven't. Thought we had maybe seen a few more cars into the pits there. No, we have. Reynolds has come in again, so I think Reynolds has swapped tyres to try and go to the end, but I presume on a set of mediums for Reynolds. So Reynolds might be able to come charging through as well on a set of mediums to the end of the Grand Prix. That'll be one to watch. Verstappen has done 3 laps in his mediums. Reynolds has got fresh ones. So has TR Apex, actually. So those two have tyres even fresher than Joe and Hayden. So you have to feel that those guys are going to go to the end as well and should have a good opportunity of getting to the end. So the race control telling us that the safety car will be in at the end of this lap. Remember, Langman at the front, he will set the pace. The safety car will take off into the distance, and he will become the pace car. He will control the pace. He will decide when he decides to drop the throttle. Need to time it right though. Don't want Surprise all over you right away. I mean, I think it's inevitable it will be anyway. We know how classy, how quick Veloci Surprise is. I mean, he really should have won last time out in Bahrain if it wasn't for a couple of disconnections, and he still pushed Joe all the way for much of the race. But the safety car is about to come in, and we will have Langman dictating the pace, getting us back underway. The big question now is, as we get going once again, is can Joe, can Hayden, can Apex, can Reynolds get those medium tyres to the end? We'll find out as the safety car comes in, and we are racing once again in China, and look how wide Langman was coming off the final corner. He's immediately going to have a warning for that, and he's going to be under real threat from Surprise. Down into turn 1, Veloci Surprise steams up the inside and takes the lead. Langman tries to hold it in there. He's hanging in there brilliantly, but surely he will eventually have to concede, and indeed he does. Meanwhile, Limitless behind that is under real pressure from Leopard, not learning from his first start. It's another poor start on the restart from Limitless, and he drops down to P4. Can he come back at Leopard? Leopard defends the inside. Limitless tries the outside, he can't do it, and Leopard is up into P3 now, and not going well at all for Limitless. Jork is now right behind him too, and nearly finds a way through as they go into turns 7 and 8. But what a start on the restart for Veloci Surprise, exactly what he needed. So he's up and running again. Dralix, Martin, P7 and 8 on their mediums, 5 lap old tyres. Surely they won't get to the end of the Grand Prix. I'd be amazed if they did. It'll be a real hard slog for those guys getting to the end, that's for sure. As we watch Jork get himself right up behind Limitless as they all slipstream each other down that long back straight, the 1.2 kilometre straight, without doubt the best overtaking opportunity on this circuit. Is he going to have a look up the inside, is Jork? No. He's better of it. What about Joe on Melanie, further up the road or further down the road? Oh, he's having a little look up the inside, and can he out-traction Melanie? He's on 3-lap pressure tyres, Joe. So this is going to be a run into the final corner, and is he going to go round the outside? Yes, he is. Beautiful driving there from Joe up into P9. We've got a few cars, I think, coming into the pits. That was Ghost Crab in the background going in. I'm not sure why, but Joe then making some progress up to P9 then on those mediums. But the big question, will they go the distance? That is why we love a safety car. It really does throw the strategy up in the air, throws the drivers into the unknown. They don't expect safety cars, and they got a yellow flag in sector 1, and I'm not sure why. I presume it's overkill. He's going slowly, he's dropped 2 places, so I think overkill's been off the road somewhere. I can only presume it's him. As we go back to Veloci Surprise in the lead of the Chinese Grand Prix, in the lead in the championship as well, level with OMG. It's Joe in the standings. They both find themselves on 40 points after a first place and a third place. This man started on P10 in the grid, not a great lap in qualifying from Surprise. The first time this season he's not started on pole after 2 successful pole positions in Australia and in Bahrain, but he's streaking away at the front already here after the restart, after getting his way up ahead of Leopard, ahead of Langman and ahead of Limitless. And now heading down this long back straight, he looks in control as Limitless might find himself under a bit of pressure on this occasion from Jock. It looks like it's too far back, so let's go further down the field and try and pick up Car Powerful, who looked as if he was pretty close to making a move down that straight. Oh, there it is there. Yes, he is. He's going down the inside of TR Morso, and he's through. As look at the McLaren in the background. That's RBZ. Whew. Oh, he's touched with Hayden, and goodness me, that was so close to a major incident there, but thankfully they don't come together as RBZ lines up Hayden coming out the final corner and across the start-finish line. That's for P13 and P14. RBZ will try and go around the outside of Hayden, will he? No, he won't. Thinks better of it and stays in P14, but a hairy moment there on the exit of turn 14, it has to be said, and a little bit of contact. Thankfully Hayden didn't go spinning and holds on to P13, but RBZ sneaking around in the braking zone, trying to keep Hayden guessing about where he was going to go next. Stay uneasy, as Apex is also in there too, as RBZ goes for the lunge up the inside of Hayden. Oh, that was close, that is very close, and RBZ, oh, that was beautiful, late on the brakes, bullied Hayden off the inside, and through he went, up into P13. Those fresher soft tyres, or those softer tyres I should say, they're not fresher, but softer tyres working better than the mediums at this stage of the race, and RBZ up into P13 and Apex now, getting really close to the back of this group and considering a move on Hayden. I would go further up the order, but at the moment this seems like the best action on the racetrack for 13th place. RBZ versus Hayden. Oh, Apex, goodness me, waiting for Hayden to pick up the throttle, waiting too patiently, and ends up clattering into the back of him there, but thankfully no damage as RBZ goes on a trip to Beijing, as I've said already. Easy to do on this track, but thankfully gets it all together, returns to the circuit and returns in P13 as Hayden has a little look up the inside of RBZ. Is he going to go down the inside? Oh, RBZ had to turn away from the corner, and Hayden, aggressive as you like, but brilliant, and through, back up into P13. I really enjoyed that move there from Hayden, and I'm really pleased to see that RBZ didn't turn in on him. Good respect they're showing from RBZ, because probably feels he'd be a bit hard done by there if he did turn in, and yep, oh, look at that from Apex. RBZ really up against it here, and right up the inside went Apex into turn 1. He had to really trust RBZ there. RBZ holds it though. Oh, rubbing wheels, trading paint on the Pirelli tyres, and they're still side by side they go down towards turn 5 and 6. Great action between these two for 14th and 15th place. Apex on the inside. Is he finally going to complete that move? It looks like it, and RBZ, having looked like being in P13 a few moments ago, drops to P15, and then down he goes. And back to P15. Meanwhile, while that was going on, Limitless, I believe, has he got ahead of Jock? Or was Jock always behind? I think Jock was always behind, wasn't he? Yeah, he was. So Limitless still stuck behind Leopard at the moment. Let's tune in to that particular battle. Limitless getting a good run there coming off of turn 13. And Leopard's a sitting duck here because he doesn't have the DRS to Langman in front. He's 1.1 behind, and Limitless will close and close and close. But he won't close enough to make a move in the braking zone and remains in P4. It's lap 9 out of 28. Veloci Surprise leads this Grand Prix on tyres he started on. Those soft compound tyres from Langman in second, LCR Leopard in third as Langman picks up a 3-second time penalty. I presume running wide in that final corner, as it's most likely place she will get a penalty. So Langman second, Leopard third as Veloci Limitless runs in P4. Jock is P5, Kate is P6, Dralix P7 and TRL Martin right behind him in P8. And look how close that is, the three of them into the turn 2 and Dralix just about holding on, and Martin, who's in a, you could argue, scrappy start to the season, up and down so far. Looks like it's continuing more towards the down direction so far today. Struggling in qualifying, P16 in the grid, hasn't made the same progress that Leopard has in the early exchanges of this Grand Prix. So Martin up against it, and another thing he'll be concerned about is the fact that Joe, who might not have to pit again, is right behind him, and really making some headway here early on as Kate is caught in the champagne bottle. Those soft tyres will be near their sell-by date. It has to be said. I mean, lap 9-10 is roughly what we'd expect out of those soft compound tyres, so expect maybe this lap or the next one, the likes of Surprise, Langman, everyone in fact in the top 6, to consider a pit stop. But Kay won't be coming in if Surprise comes in, that's for sure, because they're in the same team. But down the back straight they go. It's Kay P6, Dralix P7, Martin P8 and Joe in behind in P9, and that looks like a move from Dralix up the inside of Kay into the braking zone. Through he goes and Martin tries to follow through. Oh, he locked up there big time. And has he got damage, Martin? I think he might. I've just got away with it there, in fact. Let's have a little look. It's hard to tell, but I think Martin has just about got away with it. He's now really wide off the corner. Kay's in trouble too here, and this is going to be side by side, down towards turn 1. Martin, is he going to make the move? That front wing looks intact, and he's now up into P7. Joe, oh, look at Kay coming straight back up the inside. Oh, and look at that three-way through turns 2 into turn 3. Joe was there. I had to try and find a camera angle, but show it. We have it now. And look at this ding-dong battle for P7. Kay's lost the rear, and goodness me, that was nearly a huge accident there. And Kay drops to P9. It might be P10. It's powerful. Steams up the inside of Kay into the hairpin of turn 6. That was so close. Great racing there between the three. I'm not sure if Kay lost it on those worn softs or there was contact. We couldn't tell from the camera angle, but now Car Powerful moves into position right behind Kay, looking for a way through, but at the moment he can't quite do it, and Kay holds on to P9. But breathless action there as Joe, Martin and Kay went 3 wide into turn 3. I mean, what? When does that happen? When is that supposed to happen, ever? I've never seen anything like it. But hey, that's ILR for you. It happens every week. We're used to it now. As Car Powerful looks like he's got a fantastic run on Kay now, and Kay on those shattered tyres. I mean, Car Powerful himself is on 10-lap-old tyres. As we look from behind, we should see that Williams appear in our view. Yep, there it is, and look at that, the run that Melanie's got. He might take the pair of them in the brakes, he might. Oh, I don't think so, and Powerful holds on, and Melanie moves up into P10. Behind, and down goes Kay now into P11, but Melanie on mediums. 10-lap-old mediums, there's a 10-lap-old soft. The medium would be the better tyre, but the pit stops are being made. Veloci Limitless is in the pits. He's been joined in the pits by several others. Langman is in. Veloci Surprise is also in the pits as well. Limitless on his way back down the pit lane. Is he going to be in any traffic? Is he going to be okay? Now the question is, can they catch Joe? Can they catch Apex? Can they catch those guys that pitted and fitted fresh mediums? Can they catch Hayden as well? Those are all those guys that they need to catch. Surprise should catch Hayden, no bother. He's only 2.2 behind him. But this is their race now. The question is, can Joe get to the end? Can Apex get to the end? Can Hayden get to the end? Those are the guys that fitted fresh medium tyres under the safety car period. So the tyres should be relatively fresh. That is the big question. Let's try and find the gap between Surprise and Joe, because that is important. We need to know that. Surprise, 19.6 off the lead. Joe, 7 seconds off the lead. So about 12 seconds, 11 to 12 seconds is what Veloci Surprise has got to make up in the remaining 16 laps, pass and overtake Joe for what would be a net victory. But we do not know if Joe can get the car to the end of the race. That is what we don't know. So that is going to be interesting to see how that pans out. So that's what we need to think about, folks, over the next 16 laps. as we watch Hayden line up RBZ down the straight towards the braking zone. Is he going to have a look? He's going to go to the outside on Hayden. Sorry, on RBZ. Is he going to do it? Not on this occasion as they go through turns 14 and 15 as they've got some more pit stop action. Kay's in, Powerful's in, along with Leopard and York, and in comes RBZ as well. So the pit stop phase in full swing at the moment. The race slowly starting to take shape. So those guys all in the chasing pack. We still wait for Dralix and Martin to make their stops as Hayden goes really wide and will surely surprise him on the inside. Nope, not quite. And Hayden holds on at the moment, but Hayden here could really help out Joe on those mediums here. He really could by staying in front and blocking Veloci Surprise all he can, but not in the same race. And Surprise up the inside. Hayden turns in though. Surprise tries to get the move done. Surprise realises how important it is that he makes that progress now, and he is through up into P7. So through goes Surprise, P7 for him, Hayden down to P8. And I think the big question here at the end of the race, it won't be that Joe has lucked into this, because the same thing could have been done by Surprise, by Limitless. They were on softs. They could have pitted and fitted mediums and done the same strategy. So if Joe does go to the end and win this Grand Prix, a big pat in the back for that strategy call. I mean, I know he had to do it because he was on ultra softs, but still, the option was there for Surprise, for Limitless, for Langman, for Leopard to all come in at the same time. They could have done that, but they decided not to run that same strategy. Will it pay off for them by going long, or will it not? We'll find out soon, as Dralix and Martin are doing battle. Martin's got himself ahead of Dralix, has he? Martin P1, Dralix P2 as they cross the line. They're doing 13 laps on the medium tyres. What tyre are they planning to go on? How far do they think they can go? Well, they're dueling side by side at the moment, and Martin and Dralix into turn one, and Martin stays in front. And this is interesting for Joe because he needs to clear these guys. He needs to get ahead of them and get on his merry way, because he's got Surprise chasing him down, and you've also got Surprise pumping in brand new fastest laps of this Grand Prix. So for all you guys watching, feel free to comment, feel free to let us know. My current question for you is, what do you think? Will Joe win it, or will one of the guys on the mediums that have just stopped win it? That is Surprise, Lineman, Limitless, or will it be Joe's afternoon in Shanghai? Let me know what you think. I think a real key to this Grand Prix is if they can clear these two, because that is important. Is Martin doing this deliberately to help Limitless out? We've seen Martin help Limitless out in Australia already this season. But we'll wait and see what the plan is between these guys. But the Red Bull and the Toro Rosso at the moment certainly hindering Joe from making the progress he would like. Lap 14 out of 28. It is the halfway point of this Chinese Grand Prix. It's been a gripping race so far, full of strategic options, and an early race safety car caused by VSR Simon. Also on the sidelines, EVR Reynolds and VRT Verstappen. They're also out of this Grand Prix. Not sure what happened to them. Apologies if I missed that one. It might have been just after the safety car pulled in, actually. I'm not sure. But Joe, right behind these two, but not making the headway he would like. And last time I looked at this gap between Joe and Surprise, it was around 12 seconds. What is it now? It's around 10 seconds. So it's coming down, but is it coming down quickly enough? Joe really needs to make these moves very quickly. Surprise pumps in a new fastest lap again, to again show the pace is there. He's coming. He's getting quicker and quicker and closer to Joe as he remains stuck behind the Canadian of Dralix and the Englishman TRL Martin. He needs to get free from these guys, but I don't know why these guys are going so long in the mediums. Do they genuinely believe they can fit ultra softs? I don't know what's going on. Oh, of course, that's why, because they started on them and they're going long enough to go into soft tyres. I'm just talking rubbish. Ignore me, folks. If only had James alongside me. Yep, James not here with us tonight. He is working, I believe, so no James tonight, but you've got to listen to me all evening long, I'm afraid. But Langman, let's go and watch him as he's tucked it behind LCR Hayden, who is doing that same strategy of Joe and Apex of trying to go the distance to the end of this Grand Prix. I think a real gauge of how far those tyres will be how far Martin and Dralix take their tyres. That will really tell us how far Joe, Apex and Hayden might be able to go into this Grand Prix. But here comes Langman onto the back of LCR Hayden. Is he going to be able to make a move as he goes down this back straight towards turn 14, the heavy braking zone at the end of this 1.2 kilometre straight? Is Langman close enough to have a look? Not quite on this occasion. He gets closer in the braking, so close in the braking, but it's unable to make that move, as Melanie and Martin have finally made the call for the pits. So they've both come in from that long medium run. That just leaves Dralix out there at the moment, yet to make a pit stop. So Melanie and Martin, they peel into the pits, and I would presume will fit a set of the soft compound tyre. Indeed they do, and go to the end of this Grand Prix. So that will, in theory, free up, pardon me, that will free up Joe a little bit, but he still has to get past Dralix. At the moment, he's still tucked up behind Dralix, unable to get close enough to make that move. I mean, this really will make Joe's race. He needs to look after his tyres, but at the same time, he has to get past. He quite simply has to get past to make sure he beats Surprise this afternoon. And at the moment, that ain't going to happen. As we go to the outboard shot from the helicopter camera, Joe is your net leader from TR Morso and TR Apex. That would be your top three, as both the Haas drivers follow together with Surprise shadowing in the background. Can they get to the end? Morso, sorry, has not pitted yet. My mistake. He has yet to come in. He's in the same strategy as Dralix. It would be a clever decision for Haas to let Apex go here. But will there be any signs of that as he gets right up behind him, opens up the DRS, and through goes Apex up into that net P2 ahead of his teammate. And Morso will surely be in at the end of this lap. Oh, he actually clipped his teammate there coming out of that corner. Very, very close. As Dralix pits, and Joe has also pitted, so he obviously felt he couldn't get the mediums to the end. Maybe on PlayStation 4 you can, but you can't do it on Xbox. I think there's a little bit of difference in the tyre life between the consoles, and it's showing here a pit stop for Joe, and he will run to the end on the soft compound tyre. And are the hopes of victory disappearing for OMG It's Joe? Was that early safety car a bad thing? Well, we'll find out if Apex tries to go to the end. I mean, he could. He's on the same strategy, as is Hayden. They could try it. So that'll be one to wait and see. But Joe really needs to make some serious headway now on those fresh softs, as does Dralix, as does Martin. But let's have a look on board with LCR Leopard as he attacks Veloci Limitless in what is now a battle for a net podium place, you would feel, because they will get up to the back of Hayden quite comfortably on those 13-lap old mediums, you would think. So Limitless currently in P5 at the moment. We'll need to go to Surprise versus Apex, because that is for the lead of the Grand Prix, unless Apex decides he needs to make a pit stop as well and do exactly what Joe did a lap ago. Lap 17 out of 28, 11 to go. Is this looking like as a Veloci Surprise victory? We'll have to wait and see, but he's very close now to the back of TR Apex, and he's already looking like making a move. He's pulling alongside, he's up the inside already. Veloci Surprise, up the inside and through into the lead of the Chinese Grand Prix. And is he now on his way to a second win this season? You could argue it should be 3 from 3, but is he now looking at a second win this season? It certainly looks like it. And he heads down that start-finish straight to begin his 18th lap of this 28-lap Chinese Grand Prix in control. As Leopard has been allowed through by Hayden, I think the LCR boys, teammates as well, down at Mercedes, have decided, of course, to swap their drivers. So Hayden drops back to P6. I think that was the smart thing to do, really. I mean, I don't think there'll be anything else other than that to do. I mean, I think maybe, oh, look at that lock-up from Martin. He nearly careered into the back of Jock there. Thankfully, he gathers his thoughts together and gathers the car up and gets himself back on his way in P8. So TRL Martin, P8 at the moment. Car Purple behind him in P9. OMG It's Joe right on the back, actually, of Car Purple as he continues to make his progress. Car Purple is actually just 5 laps ago fitted fresh medium, so it wouldn't be too easy for Joe to make his way through, but he should have that slight pace advantage. We'll see how it goes as they head down to the braking zone of turn 11. So, oh, look how close Joe is. Look how much quicker he is heading through turns 12, and now through turn 13 you've got a yellow flag in sector 2. I'm not sure why. We'll find out why in a few moments' time as Joe gets right up behind the back of Car Powerful. It's Alfa Romeo Sauber versus Ferrari, and in the battle of the Italians, it's a win for Ferrari. Up into P9 goes OMG It's Joe, and at the same time I think Martin has found his way past Jock and up into P7 for TRL Martin, as TR Apex has also bailed out of going to the end of the Grand Prix, and he will come in and presumably fit a fresh set of soft compound tyres. So Apex bails out as well. It's simply the safety car did not come at the right time for those drivers on the ultra soft tyres. Just a little bit too early for them, and serving a penalty there was TR Apex as well before getting back on his way to rub salt into his wounds, and he rejoins the race virtually last, only Overkill behind him, and he I think is disconnected from this session. Yeah, he has. So the last actual runner, TR Apex in P14 at the moment. So let's move ourselves a little bit further up the field and see if we can spot any action. Looks like Leopard versus Limitless for that final podium spot is the one to watch at the moment. A Surprise now stretches his advantage out to 4.5 seconds over Langman. Oh, and Leopard way off the road there. That could be a warning. It should be a warning. Running way off the road there. But it looks like it's going to be a tussle between Red Bull and Mercedes for this final podium spot at the moment. I mean, Joe might get involved later on as well, remember, on fresh softs. That will be one to watch. But Martin as well, he's well placed on his fresh soft tyres, and he's already attacking Hayden. He's going side by side with Hayden. He has to tuck out from behind him, go back into the slipstream, and now pull back alongside Hayden. It's TRL Martin making his move up into 5th place in this Grand Prix. Yes, he is. Martin up the inside, into P5. It's not been a straightforward afternoon for Martin, but he is now up into P5, and there might be a potential podium opportunity here for TRL Martin, which would have looked unlikely earlier on in this Grand Prix. So Martin back on his way up into P5 with Dralix and Car Powerful really close. No, Powerful's just come in after 6 laps. 6 laps on mediums. So why is Powerful going into the pits? What's he putting on this? He's had a bit of a wretched weekend, has Car Powerful, so he's coming into the pits. I'm not sure what tyre he's going to fit here, but Car Powerful, in he comes up onto the jacks and a set of softs. So no front wing change or anything like that, a strategic call. So Powerful not enduring the best of races, is he, at the moment, as Joe and Jork hunt down Hayden, who is taking this set of mediums to the end of the Grand Prix. It looks like he's going to try it. Fair play to him for trying, but it might be to no avail, it has to be said. He's going to have Joe chasing him down pretty soon, who has just pitted, of course, from that strategy. And Hayden, that looked like a sign of worn rear tyres. And here comes Jork alongside, up the inside into turn 11. And Hayden will try and hang in there through turn 12. Look at that, very, very close. And Hayden brilliantly hangs in there and just about holds on. Side by side through the banking they go. Jork, is he now ahead of Hayden? They're side by side. OMG, it's Joe. You're going to get boxed in there, sunshine. Don't do that. Oh, he's right in the slipstream behind Jork. Is he going to get through? Is he going to get through? I don't think he can. 3 wide, banging wheels on the brakes into the hairpin. And somehow Hayden holds on, or does he? No, he's just gone too deep. And Joe and Jork sliver through on the inside. And Joe, I have to say, it looked like he boxed himself in, but he muscled and barged his way into a gap and moves up ahead of both Jork and Hayden. And that was crucial for his hopes of a podium place before the end of this Grand Prix. Great driving from the joint championship leader, and he's now up into P6. I really enjoyed that battle, and Hayden will feel hard done by there. He nearly held on for a little bit longer, but in the end it was to no avail. So Hayden dropped back into P8 and Jork P7, and now P6 for Joe as Martin gets ever closer to the back of this trio, or this duo I should say, of Limitless and Leopard. Now, what will be the plan here at Red Bull? Limitless surely knows that Martin is on the better tyre at the moment. So what will Christian Horner be thinking on the pit wall? I'm sure we'll hear all about it in Limitless's videos and Martin's videos on YouTube later in the week. Be sure to check them out when they come out. Check the previous ones out as well from the season so far. Really good insight as they do team radio and talk to one another during the race. Limitless does his commentaries, of course, and he allows to have Martin's voice in the background shouting, ranting and raving. So will Martin, if he clears Leopard, be asking Limitless to move aside on those fresh tyres? We'll soon see. But a little bit of double team action here for the Red Bulls. Can Martin make a move on Leopard and steer that threat away from Limitless? He might just play as a rear gunner to Limitless to begin with to try and get Leopard shaking off the tail of him. But Leopard certainly looks like he has the measure of Limitless at the moment. Remember, Limitless, he did say actually in his video last week that China is one of his strongest tracks, but at the same time, cancelling that out is the fact he's been with eSports all week. Did very well on Wednesday night in the eSports. I think he picked up 14 points which for JD I would presume is a great tally. You know, he's a great driver, but he's not right up there. I don't think you'll mind me saying it, with the likes of Brendan Lee right up on that level of pace, and to get 14 points, I'm sure that will even have exceeded his own expectations. So I think he'll be delighted with that, and carrying that on here will be his aim. But of course, the fact he's been busy all week, he only arrived back home, or in the paddock if you want to say, here in China an hour before the start of the Grand Prix, and I mean, that's maybe part of the reason why he's not quite up to speed on the circuit, but still doing well at the moment. P3, much better than the Bahrain disaster last weekend for the two Red Bull guys, as they look to find themselves up towards the front, try and get towards Langman. I think they're actually catching Langman a little bit as well here. This could become a 4-car or perhaps 5-car fight for P2 come the end of this race, because Langman's been wheeled in by Limitless, Limitless has been wheeled in by Leopard, Martin's been wheeled in, Martin's reeling in Leopard, and Joe's reeling in Martin, so this could be quite exciting for P2, pardon me, in the closing laps of this Grand Prix. So it will be one to watch, but who do you think, if you're watching, feel free to let us know in the comments. Will Langman cling on to P2? Will it be Limitless? Will it be Leopard? Will it be Martin? Will it be Joe? But Langman doesn't look like clinging on to it. He's got a couple of penalties now already. I'm not sure how many exactly, but he's picked up quite a few, that's for sure. I would click into the pause menu and have a look for you guys, but I don't want to take away the action from your screens. In fact, you know what? I'm going to do it. There's not a lot of action at the moment. Surprise, what's he got? Surprise has got nothing. He's got 2 warnings. He's on the brink of one. Langman has got 2 penalties. Veloce, Limitless, not even a warning. Robot-like consistency. 1 warning for Leopard. What about Martin? He's got a penalty. So Martin in danger. He's actually in danger of a 2nd penalty. So Limitless looking the best of those guys in the penalty front. Leopard as well looking pretty decent. But Martin is right behind him. Joe as well. He's on the brink of a penalty too, I believe. OMG, it's Joe, but he's not got one. So Limitless putting in a fine performance of consistency on a track he says he's not done much practice on. So hats off to that. As Martin continues to look up the inside of Leopard into turn 11. Now he'll get to run through 12, but the problem is Limitless can break the toe. Maybe a good idea here would be to try and make a few moves in the straight to disrupt the toe and take it away from Leopard and give Martin the chance he needs to make that move. But look at Martin, he's really gaining now. He's opened up the DRS, but Leopard has too, and that will cancel it out and make it very difficult to make any kind of move in the brakes. And indeed it is, as Martin brakes really late. It's a little bit closer, but is unable to find a way through, and Martin remains in P5. But in the background, Joe is trying to catch them, but he's not catching them at any real rate of knots because they're all picking up DRS in front, and Joe is all on his lonesome without any. So it's quite tough for Joe to really make any inroads. It's lap 24 now, out of 28. It's Veloce Surprise in the lead now by 6.5 seconds, looking good for a 2nd win in 3 races to retake the outright lead in this Drivers' Championship. Langman is 2nd, 6.6 seconds off the tail of him. Veloce Limitless is P3 and looking good at the moment, but Leopard can seriously threaten that, can seriously take that away because they both don't have a penalty. But they're both at the same speed, catching Langman very quickly. And Langman, as we know, has got 6 seconds worth of penalties. These two do not. As Martin, again, seemingly in that middle sector, gets very close to the back of Leopard, but just running through turn 13, the dirty air just disturbs any opportunity he had of getting a run on Leopard down that straight. But Leopard a little bit leery there, a little bit out of shape going through turn 10, or the exit of turn 10, and now Martin looks pretty close, but will it happen again? Will he get close enough on the exit of the corner? That's the big question, as Langman just about holds him off at the moment, 1.2 seconds. Limitless will be hoping and praying on the next lap he will eventually get that DRS he needs to defend from Leopard, who's not really been threatening much in the last few laps. So can Martin get close enough on the brakes this time? It doesn't look like it, and it remains as you were. Limitless 3rd, Leopard 4th, and Martin P5 as Joe cuts the gap under 2 seconds. But it looks to me like it might be too little, too late for OMG It's Joe to make any inroads on those soft compound tyres, if I'm honest with you. That 2-stop strategy with that safety car doesn't look like it's going to pay off, as Martin gets again very, very close to the back of LCR Leopard going into turns 1 through turn 2. Langman's gap being cut down further and further and further. This is really going to turn into a fantastic battle for P2 and P3 in this race to complete the podium. Limitless right behind Langman. Surprise running away out front. After starting P10, he negotiated the traffic brilliantly. He had the outright pace. He is going to win this race, you would feel, in the remaining laps. But can Langman hold off the charge from Limitless, from Leopard, from Martin, from Joe, who are all coming at him a little bit quicker? Limitless at the moment just about holding on from Leopard, but can he get into that DRS to defend from Leopard a little bit easier, to make his life that slight bit easier and get closer to Langman? That is all he wants to do at the moment. If he can just get within that margin, it will be looking good for him. Martin then, right up behind Leopard, and this is as close as Terrell Martin has been. He's had to lift off the throttle a little bit there, coming out of turn 13, but this is certainly looking like his best chance. Has Leopard even got the DRS here? I think he just about got within it, but he's only a second behind Limitless, and here comes Martin. This is as close as he's got. Leopard decides to defend this one, the first time he's had to. Martin tries the outside, he'll try and cut back to the inside. He can't quite do it, but Leopard looks vulnerable for the first time in this Grand Prix. Can Limitless break the DRS on him and get onto the tail of Langman, which will aid his teammates' chances of getting up into the podium? Here he comes. Here comes Martin, side by side almost with Leopard at a turn one, but still he can't do it. Martin will know he can just get ahead of Leopard. There's a sniff of a podium here. The problem is Martin has a penalty, and was that Langman? It is Langman! Oh no, Langman in the wall and is thrown away a podium place. Oh, no he's not. Oh well, there you go. Well, that's typical, isn't it? Is it? Look at that. Look at Martin right up behind him now, and Leopard close to Limitless. The three of them battling like crazy. And yeah, sorry about that. Langman's car showing up in the barrier, but totally was not in the barrier. That might be one for the bloopers at the end of the season, has to be said. But Martin, look at this, right up behind Leopard. Can he just make that move? Can Leopard make that move on Limitless? That's the other question we have to ask. As Langman at the moment just about doing enough to stay ahead of JD in front, but Langman of course with 6 seconds worth of penalties at the moment. Can't see him finishing any higher than 6th at the moment. Looks like 6th for Langman. Maybe ahead of Martin. Martin's got 3 seconds off of penalties. I don't think so though. I don't think there's 3 seconds between them. If they go down the straight again, which one of these guys is going to make the move? If anyone's going to make the move. It's been a bit of a stalemate between these four in recent laps. But it's a really exciting battle between Ferrari, Red Bull and Mercedes. Langman P2, Veloci Limitless P3, Leopard P4 as we begin the penultimate lap. Martin and Joe on those soft tyres trying to hunt them down, but if I'm honest, I think those softs will probably be just a little bit past their sell-by date. But there go the 5 into turn 1. If it wasn't for Surprise, it'd be a thrilling battle for victory here, wouldn't it? But Surprise, he's done brilliantly. He's just head and shoulders really above the rest at the moment, and the guys around him, they've just got to up their game if they want to take it to him, but at the moment there's no signs of it, as Joe gets alarmingly closer, you would argue, to TRL Martin. And Martin could be under a little bit of threat here from Joe, who's on 1 lap pressure tyres at the moment. Is there going to be a potential move here on this penultimate lap? Will we see a change in the podium position? Langman's got 6 seconds off the penalty, so at the moment, Limitless and Leopard will be the guys joining Surprise on the podium. It will be 2 Mercedes on the podium, it would seem, as things stand. It's typically predictable. Sorry, it's not. I'm talking about Surprise. He's not in the Mercedes, is he? He's in the Williams. I was about to say it was extremely predictable having the top teams at the top, but when the bottom teams actually at the front, not really. So I'll withdraw that comment. So difficult to tell the difference on the left-hand side there between the blue shades of the Williams and the blue shade of the Mercedes, but if you go down the straight for the second last time, the penultimate time, it doesn't look like anyone is going to be close enough to make any moves, and it's just a complete stalemate at the moment, as Limitless looks like he's almost within DRS territory of Langman, and that might end Leopard's charge pretty soon. Leopard's still trying his hardest to try and snatch what would be P2 from Veloci Limitless with Langman's penalties. He can't do it, but Dralix, meanwhile, oh, we got a real incident down there. Some front wing off of Dralix's car. He's dropped down to P10, and he'll do well to hold on to that point in the remaining lap, because he's going to have more so on him. Not sure what happened there, but Dralix, Hayden and Melanie all coming to blows down there, but Melanie, the main beneficiary, he's up into P8 now, and Hayden's got a 5-second stop-go penalty for corner cutting and gaining a place. So Hayden P9, Dralix P10, but Hayden, look at that, 24 laps in the medium. He is going to get those tyres to the end of the Grand Prix, it would seem. Famous last words. But it looks like Hayden is going to get to the end, and that might make Joe a little bit annoyed that he never tried it. I'm not sure, but back up to this action. Martin P5, Joe P6, as they continue to follow Leopard and Limitless and Lagman. It really has all come together in the closing laps, and look at the slide that Joe got there. That was nearly heading for a trip into the barrier, but Ferrari, Mercedes and Red Bull putting on a real show here without really getting side by side. I'm a little bit surprised. I thought the ERS would create more variable action going down the straight. I thought we'd see more side-by-side action, but it's not the case. But we need to go to the leader. Veloci Surprise is coming round towards the end of the lap. He's going to win his second race this season. It's 2 from 3 for the Williams driver. Veloci Surprise comes across the line. He wins in Shanghai. A fantastic performance from the Williams driver. But who's going to get P2? Look how close it is in the background between Martin and Joe. Joe threatening and challenging all the way, but it's to no avail. Langman comes second, but drops all the way down to P6 with his 3-second time penalty. And that means Veloci Limitless collects P2, with LCR Leopard completing the podium in P3. OMG, it's Joe. He comes home 4th in the end. TRL Martin was 5th, received a 3-second time penalty as well. Langman was 6th. Jock was 7th. It was 8th for Melanie. He picks up 4 points. He'll be satisfied with that, I would think. 9th for Morsel. 10th for Dralix and Hayden, who tried so hard, 25 laps on the medium tyre to the end, to try and muster up a point. Heartbreakingly for him, gets absolutely nothing. So unfortunate there for Hayden, it has to be said. He gets absolutely nothing. But it is Veloci Surprise who once again finds himself on the top step of the podium, just a class above, coming through from 10th place on the grid and making it work to come home with the victory. There you go, the Welshman on the top step once again. It's 2 wins from 3, 3 podiums from 3, 2 poles from 3. It really has been a solid, brilliant start to the season for him. Veloci Limitless, you've got to say he'll be satisfied with P2, given that he didn't have much practice with the eSports series. His attention will turn next week to Baku. Everyone's attention will turn next week to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in Baku. It promises to be another fantastic Grand Prix. Completing the podium then, it was LCR Leopard who finally gets his season up and running, and that's a little bit strange. Oh, there's me getting my XP again. Glad about that. There you go, there's the full results for the Chinese Grand Prix. Veloci Surprise winning for Williams Racing from P10 on the grid by a comfortable 11.2 seconds to Veloci Limitless in second. It was a real battle going right to the line between those guys. Leopard 3rd, OMG it's 4th, Martin 5th and Langman 6th. The penalties for those bottom 2 in 5th and 6th place, they're really coming home to roost. Jock was 7th, a solid effort from him, and the Renault, it was 8th for Melanie in the end, with Morsel coming home 9th and Dralix, the Canadian, getting the final point in 10th. There was nothing for Hayden after that 25 lap marathon stint. Kay was 12th, 13th for Apex, 14th for Overkill, Powerful, RBZ, Ghosh, Verstappen, Reynolds and Simon did not see the finish, and Simon in the end brought out the safety car early doors, the first one we have seen so far this season. So bear with me folks, I'm just going to try and get the drivers in for interviews. I'll try and get those guys in right now, and then we can have some interviews. Unfortunately we don't have James with us. He would usually do get the guys in for me nice and quickly, but at the moment we cannot do that. Let's see if I can get these guys in. In the meantime, please vote for your driver of the day. I'm interested to hear who your driver of the day is. That's something I would like to hear from you guys. I mean, Surprise coming from P10, it's hard to argue with that. That's a super performance from him. But hold on guys, to get these guys in there. I mean, there's several others came right down. I mean, Martin came right down from the back of the grid, I think, from around, what was it, P16 Martin came from. So a real good job there from him. We'll see how he gets on. So I've just dropped an invite to Limitless. Let's try and drop an invite to Surprise and Leopard. Let's see if I can get them in. There's, I think I've sent one to, who did I send that to? I think I sent that to Leopard, so let's see if I can get this Limitless in. I'm going to just try and get Leopard in. Where's, sorry, not Leopard, where is he? I've even got Surprise on my friends list. Let's see if I can find Surprise. Have you got Surprise on your friends list, JD? Any chance you can invite him in, if you've got him?
Yep.
Cheers,
yep. No, but
Yep, well that concludes the Grand Prix. I'm just waiting on everyone getting in here for an interview, but a fantastic drive in the end from Veloce Surprise picking up the victory. Once again, a Veloce 1-2. It was Surprise coming home ahead of Limitless in P2. Hopefully we can get everyone in for an interview in a few moments' time. I'll try and get Leopard in again as well. But it was a thrilling race, there's Leopard in as well. Hopefully we can get Surprise joining us in a few moments' time. Leopard, of course, he also picked up his first points of the season after what he could argue was a messy opening couple of rounds for him. So he'll be delighted to get on the board. But we just wait now for Surprise to join us, if he does choose to join us in a few moments' time. But yeah, another thrilling race, exciting throughout. Maybe not up to the same levels of Bahrain, which was just insane from start to finish. But it was a real strategic battle. But Surprise has joined us. Surprise, congratulations from P10. Not the greatest qualifying session for you, but another superb performance in the Grand Prix. You must be delighted.
Yeah, it was a good race, but quick word on quali. I didn't know if it was a glitch or whether I was going crazy before, but it's definitely a glitch, and is basically I'm not using all my ARS despite being in lap the whole lap. I finished the lap with about 39-40% ERS left, which shouldn't be the case running hot lap the whole lap. So yeah, that's annoying. It happened in practice as well. I thought it would happen and it did. So luckily I just about beat my ultra soft time starting the softs. And it was kind of a cluster at the start of the race. I kind of avoided it and I found myself in a good position already, and then the safety car came out and I don't know how, I just by the time everyone pitted, I found myself in P2. I don't know how that happened, but yeah. And then it was just a case of getting past Langman and then pulling away. That's pretty much it.
Yep. So you must be delighted then. I mean, it was you. I mean, it's when you're down in P10, as we saw last week with Limitless and Martin in the wars early doors, and it ended up not going well for them. It just shows you how much of a gamble it can be, how difficult it can be. But you negotiated it quite well. You done a good job and got up to the victory. Was there any moments where it got a little bit hairy for you? Was there anything that you're a bit worried about? Any times where your heart jumped a beat or two, or was it all under control in the midfield early on?
In terms of driving, it was just, I think it was just that pile up in the end of the first sector. Yeah, I had to come to an almost stop, which you never want to do. So yeah, did you see what happened? Did you see what happened?
No,
who ran into who? Simon's. All I seen was Simon spun, which is really disappointing for him because in practice he was. I think he's even quicker than me in practice. To be honest, I was a bit worried because he was very quick in practice. But yeah, that's a shame for him. But in terms of after that, it was just another safety car coming out when I had the lead and then disconnecting. But luckily, none of that happened.
Oh well, congratulations anyway on the victory. It's interesting to see, hear you say that about Simon. I mean, no points yet this season. Didn't start the opening race, I don't think. Or no, he did. He had a nightmare opening race and then DNF'd again today. So maybe when Simon finally gets a chance to stretch his legs and put in a performance, we'll see him joining you up near the front of the field. So interesting to hear that one. Interesting to hear that. But let's move on now to Limitless. A busy week all round for you, GG. But first of all, let's ask you about the race. I mean, not a lot of practice going in, I hear you say, but satisfied with P2, surely?
Yeah, I'm actually really thrilled with that, to be honest. I got back at like 6:30 today, and obviously from using the Fanatec pedal, where you have to put 90 kilograms of pedal 90 kilograms of pressure into the pedal to a thrust master, just using the clutch as a brake is a bit of a big difference. So yeah, I had one session to get used to it, and actually surprisingly felt pretty good straight away, and managed to do a fairly decent qualifying lap for me for once in the softs, and it had a really good battle. At the start I was getting hit around quite a bit. I don't know who it was, but I was being hit around like a ragdoll at the start. And then I think the safety car kind of caught me out because I haven't done a safety car in this game, and my tyres were super cold. And then surprised, I thought he was going to follow me to try and catch Langman, but he ended up going for a move at the end of turn one, which was a fair move. Made a little bit of contact, and that kind of pushed me out wide a little bit, and I had to regain my tyres to get on the race line again. And then I think the same with Leopard as well. I think after the restart, he got me on the restart as well because I was just had so much understeer, just didn't expect it at all. But then I managed to get him back once he pitted. I managed to get him when he came out of the pits, and then I managed to close in on Langman The lap times are really, really close. He drove an excellent race. It's a shame he got a penalty because he drove a really good race. Started closing on him, but I just couldn't get quite in his DRS. I got on the last lap, but I had Leopard behind me, who's a really, really good driver, so it's pretty hard keeping him behind on all the tyres. But I don't think I was a match for a surprise today. I think with maybe a little bit more practice and some setup tweaks, I could have matched his pace. But I think second after the amount of practice I've had, I think I'll take that today. So
yeah, you'll be satisfied with that. I thought you would be. I've got to ask you. I mean, I know what it's like as well. I don't know what it's like in the same sense about the changing the pedals, but I know if I go in something like Project Cars and jump onto F1, it's a totally different kettle of fish, and it's a bit of a nightmare. So to adapt like that, you'll be quite satisfied with that. But I mean, what about Martin and P? What did Martin finish P5 in the end? I think it was with the penalties when they all shoot out. Was there any talking going on between you two? Do we have to wait for the video for that? Were you trying to double team Leopard or anything like that to try and get him up ahead of him? Was that in your mind at any point?
I don't think there's much talk. There wasn't really much talking. There was a lot of him shouting at one point. I don't know what happened to him, but he was shouting quite a bit, which you'll be able to hear in the video, quite a bit. But yeah, there wasn't really too much talking. But we were just both really focused on. I drove a super consistent race, and yeah, he did really well to recover from that. It's a shame he didn't get on the podium because I think I've been looking at his tweets recently. He's been practicing quite a bit for this one. It's a shame because I think his pace is almost on the same level as the Surprise. I'm pretty sure he'll bounce back next race, but luckily we got some good points. But for me personally, I think that's the best result I could have got today. So yeah, I'll take it.
Okay, well, briefly, I might as well ask you while you're here. Wednesday, how did you feel it went? I mean, surely you're satisfied with that. I mean, that was a good afternoon on Wednesday, was it not? You got to be happy with that.
Yeah, I was really happy with it because I haven't actually used the Fanatec, and I only got it a day before the event, so I didn't actually get to practice with the Fanatec or the pedals, so it's pretty different to my one. So P5 in the first race, I was pretty sad. I wasn't really expecting that, so that was pretty good. China, it started raining in qualifying, and I went out too late, so I just didn't do a lap. And got wing damage because it's on sim damage in turn 1, and then Baku literally just tried to keep out of the wall and came home in P8, so for me, I was pretty surprised of it, playing on PC, and yeah, it was a pretty good result for me. So, hope the event 2 will be even stronger. So,
so you've enjoyed your week so far. You've enjoyed your time with Renault as well. Enjoyed the whole eSports experience, and hopefully more of the same in the future. Then.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I loved it. I loved playing on a live event. So that's the first one I've done. So. Yeah, it was really good. It was really good to adapt to it, and I had a really good time with Renault. I went to the factory for the last 2 days as well. So yeah, it was really, really good. The next event's got Silverstone, Spa, and Gran, so that should be a pretty good track. So yeah, hopefully with more time on the Fanatec, I'll be even faster. So.
Well. Okay, well done this week anyway on your results. I mean, that's totally something that the two men joining you in the podium will really feel about in the future. 2 youngsters and Leopard and Surprise, they will be looking at that in the future, so I'm sure they'll love to hear about that as well. But now, let's go to Leopard. P3, you've had to wait a while, Leopard, sorry about that, mate. But P3, finally some points on the board this season. You must be satisfied, especially from where you came from in the grid.
Yeah, I mean, 24 hours ago, I didn't even have a wheel, so yeah, I'll take this, considering it's probably my least favourite track on the calendar. Yeah, I decided to start on softs and got an amazing launch, which also makes a change. And yeah, by coming into the S's, I was in P7 or P8 or something, which I never get good starts. So yeah, that was nice to see, and the podium just tops it off, really.
So at the start, first of all, you said about a wheel, not having a wheel on it before. Did you have a wheel prior to that, or was this you just getting a wheel and jumping on? Or so what had happened? What was the story there?
Pretty much, I have a Logitech G920, and my throttle pedal. It's been doing this for ages. It's been doing this since the first season of Xbox. I think it was Spain when it started happening, and it was manageable then, but my throttle pedal was stuttering massively, not smooth whatsoever. And I was practicing last night, and it just became ridiculous, and I was so slow.
Undrivable.
Yeah, pretty much undrivable. So yeah, thankfully it was within warranty, and got it replaced. So
So,
Yeah.
so you weren't too bad today. Well, that's good then. So what about your start? I mean, I saw you gained, what was it, 10 places in the first couple of laps. Was that all down to the good launch, or were you diving in and out of all the carnage as well in turn 6? I mean, where did you make the majority of those places up? Because I mean, there was so much going on early on. I almost missed the fact you had gone so high up so quick.
Can't remember where I started. I think it was
18th, I think. 18th.
Yeah, something like that. And I was into like 12th or 13th by the time I'd even got to turn 1.
Oh right, okay, wow. Must have been some launch.
Yeah, the grippier tyres helped as well. And yeah, then I think in all the carnage I managed to gain like another 5 positions because I just started or took the racing line and just went around the outside of it all and somehow came out like P8, P7, so yeah.
And final question for you then, do you think you could have got JD at the end, or was it just too hard with the DRS train? I mean, JD was the only man that never had the DRS. Did you feel that maybe you just didn't have the straight line speed, or how could you not get close enough? What was causing the issue?
I mean, as I said earlier, China's probably my least favourite track on the...
Oh, have I lost you, or is it me that's lost everyone else? Hello? Hello?
Hello, I'm back. My controller disconnected.
Alright, okay. Wasn't sure if it was just me.
Lovely. But yeah, China is my least favourite track on the calendar, and as soon as JD got past me, I just decided, well, let's just save DRS and try and just stay in the DRS, and that's what I did, and I bumped the fuel up to Rich in like the last couple, but really was never going to be enough, so...
Never going to happen. Well, you still made a lot of places, P3. I mean, you're one of the contenders for driver of the day. Usually me and James select one, or someone in the comments, but we never got to that today. I mean, I need to have another look at the results and then decide, but I mean, surely you'll be one of the contenders yourself, and maybe surprised as well, given the number of places you both gained. But yeah, congratulations anyway on the podium. Congratulations to everyone in the top 3. That rounds off the podium interviews here in China. We head now next week to Baku, brilliant Baku, for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It promises to be fireworks, it always is, whether it be real life or in the virtual world. You saw in F1 eSports the fireworks that it can cause on Wednesday night. We're running right up to the finish line there. So yeah, be sure to join us next week, next Friday, with myself, Ginger Andy, or Veloci Ginger Andy, and I'll be joined hopefully by James once again in the commentary box, and I won't have to ride solo. But that's all from me. Congratulations to Surprise on his 2nd win of the season. He now leads the championship outright as we head to Azerbaijan. That's all. Good night.